3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights.
And it's lights out and away we go.
Here we go then. Callum Ultra seems to get a good start. Moves over to the inside, defending the inside line away cleanly. More than cleanly there. Leroy close behind him. Vader as well. Moss, Mertzy, Sinister, Ryan, Agent, Butters. Doing well so
clean.
far.
It's nice to see. Ryan got hung out on the outside of turn 1.
BLT Leroy makes the move. He goes a little bit wide at the corner, but gets the move done past Callum Ultra. That slipstream and maybe a big blip of hers gets the move done. Unbelievable. And Lord Vader as well, looking quite racy behind Callum Ultra. Going a little bit wide up into that corner.
Leroy saw his opportunity. Callum Ultra got a little bit wide, but he was just scared of someone being on the inside. Left him a little bit of room, and Leroy just said, "Thank you very much."
He's taking it. Now, the pressure will be on Leroy. We all know the power of the slipstream as we go up the hill here. Callum Ultra will have an opportunity to get right in the underneath the rear wing of BLT Leroy's Renault there.
Yeah, Butters. Oh, Butters a little bit wide going up the hill.
Being very sensible at the minute, not looking to make any lunges, looking to let the races play out. There is the pit strategy on screen. A one-stop soft to hards, or a two-stop soft to hards.
Assassin is coming in after the first lap, whether he picked up some damage. There were a couple of little nudges.
A few little nudges,
on
right on board.
well. That's nicely done.
He goes onto medium tyres, a good choice in my opinion. Indeed, a front wing change for UK Assassin. So it looks like losing enough of his front wing to force a pit stop. Back on board with the race leader at the minute. Sadly, not getting any interval timing for the top 7. Hopefully that starts to sort itself in a moment. Maybe a quick refresh. Maybe.
Yeah, in terms of winners and losers, we're coming towards the end of lap 2. Now everything's kind of settled down a little bit. In terms of winners and losers, Blocky's had a great start. He's up to P9. He's now shaping up for a move on Agent. He's got him up the hill. This should be done and dusted before turn 1. Let's see how Agent, does he tuck back in? Yeah, I think he's considered that. I don't think he's going to dive. So Blocky is up 7. He's in P8. In terms of losers, Butters has lost 4. He got a little bit squiggly and got a little bit boxed in on some dirty sides.
Mertzy looking like he's going to get a bit of a run on Sinister. He's going down the inside. A tricky place. Sinister, this could end. Oh my goodness me. That was seriously close. It's so tough to overtake on the inside of that corner. It is such an acute angle there. Mertzy sensibly yields with Sinister making sure there's enough space on the inside. It's all getting a little bit close here between the Mercs and the Williams. Mertzy just needs to be a little bit patient here. Wait for his opportunity going up the hill. But there's a close battle happening here as Blocky is trying to get past.
He's very, very clever in terms of where he puts the car. So he's not going to be any sort of slouch to race against. Mertzy's lost out to Blocky, and he might lose another one here to Agent. Mertzy going backwards.
He has indeed.
Lost about
I'm not
3
sure
places
whether
in
he's
3 corners.
not sure if he's had a little bit of a knock here, but it is getting a little bit close here from P5 all the way down to sort of
Agent's
P10.
got a run on Blocky as well.
Very, very close.
Nicely done on the brakes. Oh, Mertzy a little bit hot. Little nudge of Blocky. Very easy to do, isn't it, under DRS and slipstream? It's very easy to miss the brake, but you only have to miss it by a couple of millimetres.
Blocky now looking to make a move on Agent. That's a great move. Fresh Agent driving sensibly, making sure that there is enough space on the inside. But this is a very tasty battle.
It's a very, very tricky corner to get a move done. It's not a place that you would pick personally.
No.
But if it's done right and done with the proper kind of caution from an attacking point of view, you can make a move there. I've done it in the past. I've done it on the inside and the outside. But you have to hopefully completely sure, and you need to be bang alongside.
100%. It has to be. You know, you need a great exit out of turn 1, turn 2. It needs to be clean. You need to have that overspeed basically to make sure you can get past the guy in front, so you can hold that inside line and make sure that you can get the move done. running on board with Mertzy. Flecky's not too far behind. Flecky's doing well to get back up and make up a few places. But shout out for Wicked Moss as well. Currently sitting in P4, starting on those mediums. So he's made those work very, very nicely.
We did talk about that from the outset. That's the advantage. Start getting that high up. Yes, you're on a slower tyre, but B, it's hard to overtake around here, and the field spread may learn to help him out. What he's looking for now, he can basically drive it how he wants. He can attack really hard and try and get into a gap and put himself on the same strategy as everybody else. He can try and go longer and have less time on the hards. There's a number of ways he could take this.
Absolutely. It's he's in a bit of a commanding position, but he's no doubt going to have to get thinking about how he wants to play his strategy. Back on board with Callum Ultra, just about half a second behind Leroy. No doubt going to start getting some DRS and a nice bit of slipstream. If he cannot get past him on track, he's going to have to start thinking about maybe some different pit strategies, maybe a bit of an undercut and make those hards last a lap or two longer. See if he can get the move done in the pit lane.
So last week we had the Butters train. It's now all aboard the Agent train.
It is indeed.
Shall I say the Sinister train? He's not really that far off the back of Sinister, but here comes Blocky.
It's a bit of a DRS train at the minute. He doesn't.
Yeah, it's always not. It's never nice stuck in one of these because you can't really make the gains that you really want to.
No, and this is the thing. It's not the widest circuit, is Interlagos. Certainly through this section here, it's very. You've got to be very, very precise if you are going to look to go side by side. Very precise indeed. He's got to be patient. I think you've got to be patient. I think you've got to wait for pit stops to play out. I think you've just got to be sensible. Keep your nose clean. That
big moment from Mertzy. Lost his back end. Butters up the inside. I don't know if he missed his braking point, Mertzy. He was certainly very, very slow and out of position on that track, and Butters has said thank you very much up the inside.
He's down to P10, and Adam Hansen is firmly in the slipstream here. He'll get DRS. Mertzy doesn't get DRS from Butters in front. Can Adam make enough of a move? Mertzy needs to just give that space. Nicely done there.
There's moves in stereo as well. Flecky's just done exactly the same to VXR behind, so 2 carbon copies in this space of about 5 meters.
It's all happening, folks. It is all happening. But Adam might be put under a bit of pressure. No, Mertzy seems to be a little bit too far back. Oh my
Flecky.
Goodness me. Flecky goes for an unbelievable lunge.
Yeah, we did say that if you're going to make that move, you've got to be sure you don't make it from the move back. Flecky was very, very lucky that Mertzy had seen him coming.
Wow, that is. I'm just gonna call that how it is. That is straight up ballsy. To make a move like that is very ballsy. Lots of confidence from Flecky. Keen to get the job done. Mertzy just seems to be struggling, falling back a little bit. Maybe a little bit too much on his tyres in qualifying. Maybe he's just struggling for a little bit of grip at the minute. VXR isn't far behind him. He's on medium tyres. No. And may start.
Tell you what, Sinister could be in trouble here. He's got Agent and Blocky in close proximity with DRS. Is Agent going to send one up the inside? Thinks about it.
It's getting close now between Callum and Leroy as well. That gap down to 0.3.
Blocky's got the run on the outside. Second DRS straight. He's down the outside of Agent. Does Agent?
He's on his teammate. Does he go? No love lost between teammates here. There. Oh my goodness me, we are directly on board with Blocky. He's looking to make a move on his teammate Sinister. Again, needing to just exercise a bit of patience. So you cannot win the race on the opening few laps. But my goodness me, you can certainly lose it.
Yeah, 100%. And Sinister's in a quarry now, because ideally, I think, if he's recognising that his teammate is faster, well, A, he wants to stay in front, prove that he's the fastest driver, but if he does think, hang on, I'm holding up my teammate here, I need to get
this
away.
Might be his chance, though.
Let him pass?
Sinister goes really deep at Jun Sao, Blocky on the inside, he will get the DRS, he's holding that inside line, gets past him.
Yeah, it's worked
Sinister
out quite
having
nicely
to
for the
settle.
Mert boys actually, because that was the difficulty, is Sinister trying to find a place that he could let Blocky pass but not let Agent have a free run at him.
This is it. This is it. Blocky
So whether
now
it was
has a nice
intentional or
bit of
not
free
out
air.
of Jun Sao, it's turned out to be the right move.
It's worked out well for the Mert guys, both in the points at the minute, and they need to carry that on for sure. Blocky
Agent has a look.
Oh, that's a great move. Oh, Sinister, a little bit, I think, on the throttle, a bit too early. Hopefully that's not caused him too much damage. Looking at the car, it doesn't look like it's done anything.
They had a little bump.
There was.
Agent.
Oh, Agent.
Very, very
Oh, my
wide.
goodness me. Oh, Sinister gets back on the track. Oh, my goodness me.
Oh, Agent muscles his way through.
My goodness.
Feisty between these two.
Very, very feisty indeed. Now, Sinister, again, exercise patience. It is not the easiest place to overtake in Sector 2. Wait your time and wait for your opportunity up this hill. This is the place to make the move count. You know that Agent isn't going to have DRS for the guy in front. Get in that slipstream, use that ERS, throw everything you can at it to get that gap down.
Indeed, we're looking at VXR now having a move on Mercy.
He
Pretty
does
simple
indeed.
on that.
Very,
Classic
very
Brazil
good move. That is the ideal overtake. But Mercy's going to come back at him. He's on the soft tyres. VXR defends the outside. Mercy is now alongside him. VXR going to have to yield. Mercy drives well. Gives the space on the outside. That's great driving between them two. Really, really is. Respectful, giving the space. This is exactly why these guys were picked. Although Luke's getting a little run on the inside here. I think Luke gets past him. He leaves the space on the inside. They're side by side through these corners. This is so close. Now Luke will get the inside here.
This is very good driving, because bear in mind this is on a very rare that you get the grip on the outside on a harder compound, but he's made it work.
Absolutely phenomenal racing by the two of them. That is an absolute standout for me. Great respect, great space given by the both of them. Exactly what we love to see in league racing.
Adam Hansen comes into the pits. He's decided he's had enough of his soft tyres.
The pit window has opened for the one-stop strategy. Lap 11, the changeover point to box for the hard tyre. We're staying on board with Mercy. He's going to get the DRS again. This time he's round the outside. Luke's going to struggle to hold that inside line. Mercy drives fantastically well. Keeps it round the outside. This is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal to stay on board with. I'm sure these guys are loving it as well. We're going to go back up to the race leaders. Callum has just been sitting in Leroy's slipstream. Who is going to blink first? Who is going to box for the hard tyres first? This is what I want to know. This is what I want to see.
Yeah, they're both very, very aware that obviously to make the one-stop work, you've got to have stretched those softs. What they don't want is a situation that me and you had in Russia. We were so concerned about each other, trying to cover off each other's undercuts, and we gave Leroy an extra 3 laps on a softer compounder tyre. So what you don't want to undercut too early and then leave yourself at risk from an overcut, and then leave yourself down a couple of laps on tyre wear at the end of the race.
Very true. Push the soft tyres as much as they can go. A Renault is off. Must be Redding. He's on the hard tyres, maybe struggling for a little bit of grip. He's currently sitting one lap down.
He's just waiting for a spot to come back on. It's not an easy spot to rejoin.
Indeed, back on board.
What's he going to do?
With
He
his,
looks like he's going to let
teammate.
VXR and Mercy and then try and make his way back.
Good man, Redding. Always nice and sensible. Oh, Leroy. Exited. Jun Sao gets a little bit out of sorts.
Thing seems to be letting everybody go here. Doesn't want to stay still for too long. Be careful.
Neither of them box again. Neither of them pit again. That pit window is open. But how long can both of them make these softs last? Callum looking really racy now. Has he got enough momentum?
Sinister is also pitted. He's on fresh hards. Butters and Hansen they seem to be bucking the trend here. They've both gone for an extra set of softs, so they've decided, look, I don't want to run the hards for this long. I can make time up if I go for a soft medium. I can make that sort of. It's not a long pit stop round here, is it?
It's true. It's very quick pit entry. That is for sure. Very, very quick pit entry. But these soft tyres are
you
going
do
to
skip
start
a good amount of the track with the pit exit as well. You basically shadow 1, 2, and 3. But obviously the most distance that you gain is actually on the inside of the 2 left-handed corners.
Yes.
You do actually save a little bit on the exit. Agent has done the overcut though. Agent comes in a lap later, he's in front of Sinister.
He has indeed. Wicked Moss is looking again in a commanding position on those mediums, in sitting in P4. And a little bit of a race of his own at the minute. Nice little gap to Vader in front, a gap to Blocky behind. Callum Ultra now takes the lead of the race. Leroy comes into the
Leroy
pit.
who's blinked first, by the way. Leroy comes in into lap 14.
How quick is the pit stop? He goes onto the hards, gets away cleanly. A good stop for Renault. Now, this is where things get important for Callum. He needs a very, very strong in-lap here. Is he going to box this lap? Is he going to try and go for the overcut?
Yeah, we're going to find out what he's got in reserve in terms of tyre wear, fuel, ERS, but I'd imagine everything's getting turned up to 120%.
Well, this is it. Throw everything at it. Wicked Moss now sits in P2 as well. Could that potentially cause a few problems for Leroy in terms of getting back?
Oh, it's going to cause problems for both these leaders. It's going to be Leroy and Callum Ultra, because you'd like to think that at some point they're going to come up to Moss.
Absolutely.
And it's just a case, we saw it in Abu Dhabi, didn't we, where sort of Blocky and Leroy were coming up to Adam, who's a bit out of sync with them. These two have got to be very, very careful if they do get to Moss. They've got to be very, very patient. Moss isn't going to just step out of the way. They do need to be sensible.
Absolutely.
Here we go then, in he comes.
Comes into the pit lane. He'll be hoping for a clean stop. Needs to make sure he releases the clutch early. Goes on the hard tyres as well. Same strategies. I think that is the sensible option. No need to mix things up a little bit. We're going to cut to Leroy, who I think is going to maintain his position, but it is going to be close on the exit. We can see the difference that lap of hard tyres has made. Leroy has just managed to get out that little bit further ahead. Could that make all the difference towards the end of the race?
We shall see.
VXR in fourth as well. He started on the mediums. Cannot wait to see how this is all going to play out. The bulk of the drivers have done their one pit stop for the race. A few electing to do a two-stop strategy, which I'm intrigued to see how that plays.
So who do we know that's definitely on a 2? So Butters is definitely on a 2. Adam Hansen's definitely on a 2, because they've both taken 2 sets of softs.
This is
it. One other person I'm suspecting will be on a 2 is Mr. Assassin down in P16.
Yes.
He boxed lap 1 for a set of mediums. They won't do the whole distance.
Absolutely will not. The hard tyres just going to the end of this race will take a good battering, that is for sure.
The other interesting gamble out here is Flecky in P9. He's pitted off softs onto a set of mediums. Now, that's not a bad idea, actually. If you can make the softs go 15, 16, you've got to think the mediums will do 20-odd laps.
You certainly think so. You might have to drive in a way which is a little bit more conservative and kind of just sort of bide your time a little bit and hope that naturally the mediums begin to catch up with the hard tyres. But there's an element of risk in there. There is an element of risk in there.
You've definitely got to be careful on these first few, especially on these first few laps, where the rubber's not biting you quite properly. You're going to lose a lot of rubber. The tyre wear will be worse by the time they've kind of rubbered in and you've set kind of your throttle points, your braking points, your turning points, and all that kind of stuff.
And this is
it. You does have to be careful here, Flecky.
Absolutely. Moss has pitted and is now on the hard tyres, so he is going to be going all the way to the end. I think there was a nice little gap for him to slot back in, so it made sense for him to box, take advantage of that before it closed up. He sits at P5 now and is on the hard tyres with VXR yet to box as well. that makes that, as VXR conveniently pits, we're right on board, assume that he's going to be going onto the hard tyres. We'll wait and see.
Moss has done exactly that. So Moss has come in, taken his mediums off, he's gone onto hards.
Yes, indeed.
So he's been able to basically offset. He's been able to offset basically the performance drop that you would have on softs. Basically what these two are trying to do. So they've just gone for a more consistent sort of medium tyre to go longer, and they've got slightly younger hard tyres compared to those guys around him.
We had a yellow flag in sector 2. But Leroy overtakes. Safety car. We have a safety car.
We do.
A full course safety car.
That's Sinister.
Sinister. Oh my goodness
Sinister.
me. Sector 2. Careful drivers. A wheel has gone flying.
Seems to be he's got too much curb on the inside of turn 4. That generally can pivot you very, very easily, and then he's lost his left front on the wall.
Wow.
That's unfortunate. He was in a good spot there.
He was indeed. I mean, can you imagine if he just boxed maybe one lap later? You know, the difference it could have made for some of these guys.
The two people in that seat are going to be Moss and VXR. They might be kicking themselves. I mean, you can't foresee stuff like that.
No, very true. It's but if you are Butters and Adam, do you look to take this opportunity now and come in full medium tyres?
This is with a safety car. This is medium territory. So
absolutely.
Straight free stop, set of fresh mediums.
It looks like Butters
obliges.
Ooh, nearly
Hansen obliges.
And Hansen. All on the same wavelength. All on the same wavelength.
Smart call.
Absolutely. Get onto the medium tyres. They will comfortably be able to go to the end. Adam Hansen, there he is.
Everyone around them is on hards as well. That might be the clincher here.
This could work out quite well for Butters and Adam. Okay, they're a little bit further down, but with everybody ahead now on hards, apart from Flecky with 2 lap old mediums.
Yep.
Got to be feeling quite comfortable in Flecky's car.
This has come at a very nice time for Flecky. We were saying that the risk that you take with the soft medium round here is you're going to end up on either very warm softs before you stop or very warm mediums by the end of the race. What this will do is this will guarantee that Flecky's mediums make it to the end.
This is it. His every single car now has the ability to go all the way to the end of this race. Certainly not expecting any more necessary pit stops, that is for sure. But it's going to be a tough order between Leroy, Callum,
I'm not going to lie,
you've got Vader as well.
You're lucky that he saw you come in. I wouldn't have liked that if that would have been on me.
Oh my goodness me. Flecky jumps into the chat. How did we like the that move, which I described as ballsy, as does he. It was certainly that. Certainly was that. We were on board. We were on board with you when you made it as well. I think you knew the cameras were watching you. Hopefully now the guys can make sure they keep enough of a gap between themselves. Seamus comes out of the pits as well. He is on a brand new set of mediums as well. This is going to be a very, very interesting end to this race. We're just over halfway through. I would
not like to call where this is going to go. I
really wouldn't. Wasn't sure you could have kept it on track. It was certainly impressive. It certainly was impressive, Flecky.
Again, I think you owe a share of your points to Mertzy when they come to you, Flecky, because I say thank God he saw you coming, because that could have been horrendous.
Absolutely, there's been some phenomenal driving, some great respect given. Certainly from I've seen from Agent, from Mertzy, from VXR. There's been some fantastic driving. Hopefully, we don't see any collisions or any penalties under safety car. We'll go back up with the leaders. It looks like the safety car will be going around one more lap. I would imagine.
Yeah, usually you pretty much guaranteed get 3 behind the safety car here, just because it's such a short lap. does take a little bit for everybody to kind of form up.
Absolutely.
If you cover the mileage.
Now, drivers, remember, be aware that when the safety car does come in, it does cause the lead driver to slam on the brakes regardless of what he is doing. So make sure enough space is led. It's going to be a long drive up the hill. Normally the safety car switches its lights off at the very bottom, so it can be a little bit tricky deciding when it is that you're gonna put your foot down. That's for sure. Snacks is still here and watching, very quiet. McQueen looks like he's enjoying it as well. The only safety car. It is. You say it's late into the race. We are only just about over halfway, folks. Just about. I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to jinx anything, but we have had 0 penalties so far. It's been very, very good from everybody. Nice and clean, nice and respectful. Let's hope it stays that way. We're certainly looking for things to stay that way. Maybe a few incidents from qualifying that we may have to look at. Part of me didn't want to say that under the safety car. And Mertzi. There we go. Amazing.
There we go.
Absolutely jinxed it. We knew it was too good to be true. Mertzi damaging his front wing, getting a bit too close to VXR. Got to be cautious under safety car, especially at a circuit like this, which is going to bunch people up. Safety car comes in this lap. VXR gets a time penalty as well. Okay, cars are starting to bunch up. So Leroy now becomes the de facto safety car. Looking to weave, you can see
guys,
him working.
These guys will be held to limiters, alright, so be cautious.
Exactly. You cannot accelerate until the safety car officially comes in and you are told racing can resume. It's getting bunched up. It looks like Leroy has sent it. No overtaking until the safety car line. Yellow flag in sector 3. Is there a car that's come off? Looked like Crookie was going a little bit wide there. I think that's what caused the safety car. We'll go back on board with Leroy. It's just a procession of cars in a bit. Oh, we've got a spinner in the background. Oh my goodness, big accident. Oh my goodness me. Butters, a severe collision with Callum 1991. We saw him spinning in the background. We jumped on board and saw another massive collision. Callum 91 is able to keep driving, but no doubt with a huge amount of front wing damage. This safety car has just completely changed the makeup of this race. Butters was looking good with his tyre strategy. A yellow flag in sector 2 as well, no doubt, as Callum looks to come back into the pit lane. Wow, it's all happening, folks. It is all happening. Leroy has put a nice gap between himself and Callum Ultra. Still yellow flags in sector 2. Sector 2 and 3 at the minute. Are we seeing more accidents, or is it purely just slower drivers as they make their way back in?
Yeah, it's Reading. Reading's diving out of the way of people.
I see.
That's what's causing the yellow flags here.
This is getting close here. You got Mertzi, you got Agent, you got VXR, all pretty close. I don't think Mertzi has boxed. He hasn't. Mertzi is staying out with that damaged front wing. He has the time penalty, and he is continuing to struggle. Lots of understeer, no doubt, especially on hard tyres. He's got to consider boxing, maybe going on to a set of mediums at some point soon.
Crookie and Callum have decided that they might as well run a set of softs. I mean, we've seen that the guys were dragging these to 14, 15 laps. They are brand new.
It can be done.
So they've obviously got picked up wing damage somewhere. Well, we know Callum has because we saw the impact, but we didn't know about Crookie. Crookie's obviously picked some damage up somewhere. DRS is now enabled.
Indeed. Blocky gets the move on Flecky. Oh, great space left by Flecky. It's close. Flecky on the harder, on the mediums. Oh, it's close. Flecky's got to make sure he keeps that space.
Well.
Move done. Absolute move done, although Blocky's coming back up at him.
The better traction of those softer mediums, though,
it's hard to beat. But this is the power of the slipstream, certainly through sector 1 and 3. It's so strong. Great effort by Flecky to hold on to P6. I'll have a look at Ryan as well, who's now getting quite close to Moss. Moss and Ryan both on the hard tyres, but Moss is a few laps younger. Is that going to make all the difference in the dying few laps of this race? Moss will be looking to make it 3 podiums from 3. He's had some great races.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if tyre wear now Blocky picks up a 3-second time penalty, presumably just for going a little bit eager over the curbs. But as I say, around here, the tyre wear is not massive. With that safety car as well, I'd be very surprised if anyone's hards get to the point where they're going to start losing grip. So, for all intents and purposes, everyone's kind of equal right now.
Well, this is it. Everyone's feeling racy. Everyone understands that, this is it. This is potentially their one opportunity to make up some positions. Everybody is bunched up. Everybody pretty much on the same tyre. This is it. This is a purebred battle to find out who has got the speed on the hard tyres around Interlagos. It's close. It's really close.
Moss is definitely under pressure. Somewhere Blocky's got Flecky again. I don't know.
He has indeed.
Yes, that's into turn 1. Obviously managed to stay close enough. But we're probably going to see another carbon copy now of Flecky coming back at him.
Yes, indeed. We've got a yellow in sector 2 again. Have a look at Adam Hansen as well. He's on 5-lap old mediums. Needs to use them a little bit more, I think. All the guys ahead are on quicker tyres. Oh my goodness me.
Panic then. I saw a yellow in the end of sector 2, and it was a Racing Point icon and a Renault icon. So
VXR
in my mouth
pits
for a little bit. It's
serves his
just
penalty.
Reading letting Crookie through.
Both VXR and Mertzi pit observe their in-race time penalties. VXR goes on to the softs.
Yeah, so that's generally, that will be a call depending on where they think they can finish. If they get on these softs, they might be able to basically make up for the 5 seconds they've lost in the pits, whereas obviously if you carry on to the end of the race, it's a straight 5-second deduction.
This is it.
So this is basically gambling that these softs are going to be 5 seconds quicker when you then factor in the pit stop. It's going to be a net gain.
We're going to be looking at Wicked Moss's rear wing. Ryan closing in, looking to use that slipstream, use that DRS and that ERS. Can't seem to bring the gap down enough to make a move along the
and there seems to be a little bit more field spread than we saw at the start of the race. At the start, the field spread was very, very minimal. We saw battles everywhere. There's now decent kind of gaps forming everywhere. One place it isn't though is Ryan and Moss, P4, P5.
It's very...
They are close together. Blocky and Flecky are in close proximity. Mr. Nobody and Adam Hansen in close proximity. But everybody else is kind of little bits chucked here and there.
Well, this is where things are getting interesting for me as well, with about 10 laps to go. So we've got a few guys at the front. You can see in that top 7, all but Moss, their tyres are starting to hit double figures in terms of laps. They're going to start feeling a little bit less grip. They'll be able to go all the way to the end, but has Callum Ultra got enough? He's got about 25% of his ERS left, but he seems to be falling back a little bit. Leroy is just driving superbly well. Just looking to be sensible, command it from the front. It seems like that move made it count.
He's got on with his own race really. I say he took matters into his own hands, pitting first, and he backed himself. He backed himself to get the overcut, and he backed himself to be able to control it from the front. Here's Redding coming out of the pits.
He's been very consistent as well. Very consistent. We got yellow in sector 1 and 2. Blocky and Flecky again getting really, really close. It's back and forth. Blocky is not yielding, but Flecky, that extra grip and traction with the medium tyres. Got to be patient.
It's proving the difference at the moment, isn't it? It's nullifying the kind of speed difference between the two of them. Oh, we got a Red Bull off at the front. Who is that? Oh, it's Butters. Butters is just jumping out of the way. For a second there, I thought I was worried for Moss. It's just Butters jumping off the track to let everybody past. He is, of course, a lap.
He's letting lots of people past. He's pretty much motionless.
Yeah, doesn't want to stay still for too long.
No.
Just wants to pick a gap and get out.
We're on board with Flecky at the rear wing.
He's taking the Bottas line though. He's lost.
Flecky is pitting. Flecky comes into the pits. Now this is very interesting. I don't think he has any front wing damage, but they were certainly getting close. Maybe things went a little bit wrong. No, he's not. He's no wing damage. He's just going for it.
Whether it's just a case of he's just cutting his losses, he just thinks, right, well, I'm losing a lot of time battling Blocky here, going back and forwards. What I might do is just see if I can find a little bit of clear air, put on some softs, maybe I can nick the fastest lap for that extra point. But he may well find that it's worth a gamble, isn't it? I mean, you're looking at sort of points for P6, P7. If he thinks he can get back up to 7th on the soft tyres, he doesn't really lose out on anything other than gaining the fastest lap.
He can absolutely throw it. Indeed, there is a prize for the most fastest laps of the races as well. Whoever does complete the most fastest race lap at the end of the season, whoever seems to have the most will also win a prize. Look at that gap now between Leroy and Callum. You can see it's now up to 2 seconds. Callum falling a little bit further back. Just cannot seem to catch up with Leroy. Bit by bit, it's hovering, but it just doesn't seem.
Yeah, it's oscillating, isn't it? It's between 1.8 and 2. It just seems to be fluctuating a little bit. So whether these guys are literally
wicked Moss
in the face of conserving for the last few laps.
Oh, wicked Moss and Ryan getting really, really racy. This is fantastic to see. So Moss is on hard tyres, but they are 3 laps younger. Maybe Moss has just that little bit more grip than Ryan does. It's a strong showing from the Alfa Romeo boys, though, after losing out on quite a few points. To have them running P3 and P4, that's good to see.
Good to see.
Good to see Vader doing what he does best.
They, as a team, they've had a shocker so far. Ryan, obviously, the boys got decent points in that first race at Abu Dhabi. Obviously, they've been hit by Vader's penalties a little bit, and they have obviously had that double DNF in Zandvoort as well. But it's nice to see them back.
Just
Thought Moss was going to have a go there.
I did as well.
Nowhere near close enough. Yeah.
Getting closer and closer, but it wasn't enough in the end.
Flecky has made his way past Mr. Nobody and Adam Hansen. He's now back up to 9th. So he's basically got two positions to get back to where he was. Otherwise, it's going to be lost points for him, even if he does get the fastest lap.
Indeed, the fastest lap. If you do finish the top 10, Butters as well. Indeed, a DNF. We can see at the bottom those 3-lap-old mediums seem to give up on him. A DNF for Butters and Born to Sinister. Sector 3, yellow flag. Hopefully that is just someone moving out of the way. Do you think this is the best race of the 3 so far? That is such a good question. Every single race has had its own character to it. Some have been, incredibly gritty. Some have been filled with a lot of safety cars, a lot of incidents, which has changed the whole dynamic of the race. This has been a lot more gladiatorial, I would say. Very much about the drivers just kind of putting their foot to the floor, trying to be as quick as possible. There's not been incidents. There's not been kind of too many safety cars or incidents, mixing things up a little bit. It is all about pure pace. Leroy is still...
Speaking of putting foot to the floor, Callum's on a mission here. Callum Ultra, he's pulled it to within 1.2.
Wow.
This could be one of two things. This could be Leroy kind of just saving a little bit, or it could be Callum pushing hard. Could be a combination of the two.
If you are going to push, now is the time to do it. We're in the 30s in terms of laps. I can see the chat getting excited about it as well. You can see a few of them saying how that gap has closed. I'm excited, but has he got enough? Has he got enough in the tank? We'll go on board. He's hitting good lines. Certainly using all of the racetrack. How much ERS has he got left? How much extra fuel has he got on board to be able to mount a charge towards Leroy? As it stands, Leroy is set to take his 3rd win from 3 races, despite qualifying P2.
I think he might well count this as his hardest, though.
Oh, absolutely. He's certainly feeling the pressure. Lord Vader in a bit of a race of his own as well. A nice, pretty much a 4-second gap either side of him. This will do him a lot of good. I think it will do his confidence a hell of a lot to come away with not just good points, but you know, a podium spot as well. I think is going to do him well. Who else have we got then? We got Wicked Moss as well. Still close to Ryan, but just doesn't seem to have enough to come up. Callum as well, 1991, a DNF for him as well. He seems to have crashed it out indeed. Chapel in the chat pointing that out. Nicely seen. But it's a little bit close here. The closest gap at the minute seems between Moss and Ryan Wotton. Ryan will be keen to hold on to P4, claw back those points, claw it back. Callum, 91, lost my wing and just retired, spun out as you left the pits. Not an ideal night for you, my friend. But next week is a new week. Now Moss, you can see him starting to look a little bit racy here.
Yeah, this is going to be the portion where now the tyre difference might start to make an effect. His tyres are 3 laps younger. Ryan's probably going to be feeling a little bit of a loss of grip. Moss not so much. Can he stay close enough though? The obvious place is down into turn 1. Can he get close enough?
Also a great showing as well by Seamus in P7. He struggled for the last couple races. So great to see his name up there and scoring some points. Those medium tyres, he's looking to push all the way to the end. The pit strategy's worked out well for him. Moss looking like he's the closest he's been, but getting really out of shape with his lines. Yeah. Very, very scruffy indeed.
This is due to be a 3-way fight in a minute. Blocky's coming at him.
And let's not forget, Callum Ultra is now under a second behind Leroy. He can smell it. There is 3 laps to go, and that time is coming down. Has Callum been building up, saving ERS, saving fuel, and doing what he can? This is close, folks. This could go to the very, very end. Leroy, no doubt, saving his ERS. You can see the green bar on the wheel, looking to use his ERS up the hill. He's now hit 0. It's doing the job as Callum Ultra. He sets the fastest lap, a 1:10.0. And that's faster than Flecky on 5-lap old softs. He is going for it. He is going for it.
Blocky's just made a move up the inside of Moss into turn 1.
He has indeed got the move done.
He's going to get after Ryan, but bearing in mind, Blocky has that 3-second penalty. He's got 2 laps. If he needs to get Ryan and put 3 seconds on him in 2 laps.
This is getting really, really, really tense here. You can see Callum is throwing everything at it. We're going to stay on board.
He's coming back at Blocky though. He's got the extra. Oh, that's good driving from the pair of them.
Oh, this is close. Oh, Moss trying to sort of stick his nose in a little bit, but knows he can't be doing that there at that corner. This is going to come down to the final lap, folks. Do not take anything for granted here with this top 5 or 6. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
This has hurt Moss badly. I think he's going to be out of DRS range here on Blocky.
Final lap then. Needed. Final lap of the race. Leroy has point.
Oh, we've got a Ferrari facing the wrong way. That is Agent, I believe. Yes,
Agent facing the wrong way. He is indeed.
It's hard to tell whether that was contact or an unforced error. He was kind of in a bit of space on his own. He wasn't really near anybody.
This is
No,
so
his teammate for
close.
close company, he lets him go.
This is so close here. It is half a second. 0.4, 0.5. Callum is throwing everything. It is going to come down to a run up the hill. Leroy will be saving every bit of hers that he has. This has got to be the closest race of the season so far. Oh, Callum's really close. Callum is really close now. Is he going to have enough coming up the hill? It's all to play for. Has he done it? It seems like Leroy has done enough to take win number 3. He has done it. Brazilian Grand Prix winner is BLT Leroy. Callum Ultra on debut takes P2. Finishes 0.429 behind Callum Ultra. That is sensational. And GG's as well. Lord Vader completes the podium as well. Absolutely phenomenal.